So, going off to drop off some TCGPlayer orders. I got 2 right now. I just want to talk a little bit about my experience with selling so far. I'm barely into it. I've been doing it since I think the first order sold when I started putting in inventory, I think it was the same day, was December 27th of 25. So we're not quite a month later. I had these 2 orders here, I believe, are orders 31 and 32. It took the first jump from level 1 to level 2 took forever. They say it's, I think, 6 business days after you confirm shipment. And then I think for your first few orders, you have to wait an additional however many days. They're not very clear on this, at least I couldn't find it anywhere, to get to level 2. You have to have the feedback, which if people don't intentionally feedback, it's 5 days after it's moved to EDD, which is estimated date of delivery. So I had to wait, I think, 11 to 13 total business days. So long story short, I went from level 1 to level 3 because that's how long it took for those initial feedback, quote unquote, to hit. It's really the lack of feedback. Someone buys something from you, they don't leave feedback. They assume it's a 5-star and they're just going to move on because they assume they're happy with their order if they're not complaining about it or reaching out to TCGPlayer for a refund or whatever the case may be. So I went from, I remember literally maybe not even a week ago, I think it was last Sunday night, maybe into Monday, I woke up to an email saying, hey, you're level 2. And I was like, oh, cool, I have a little bit larger inventory, I think it's up to 500. And then I think maybe 3 or 4 hours later, I hit level 3. It happened very fast. And I think I have like 12 feedbacks, which is not, again, it's all lack of feedback. And that's those initial orders finally hitting the EDD and then that feedback limit. But I have shipped off 30 orders so far. I think you need 51 to be level 4. That's when you start doing your mass uploading, free shipping over $5, stuff like that. I've been kind of collecting bulk in the meantime, not true bulk. I have a lot of bulk. I hate selling off PC stuff, personal collection. I like a lot of my personal collection, that's why it's in there. I got started really through Magic. I've been in Magic for a very long time, since I'd say very long time, but since 2014. I dabbled in it when I was really young with a cousin of mine. I didn't really care for it. I preferred Pokemon actually back then, back in like 2000, 2001. Played a lot of that. So I didn't get into Magic back then, but I have played a lot and collected a lot and done a lot of Commander, stuff like that. I've done bulk hunts in the past several years through bulk bins for Magic. And I have a lot of Magic cards that I sell in bulk bins. I knew were worth, around $1, 50 cents to $1, but you can buy them for a nickel or, an inch of bulk for $1 or something like that. So a lot of these cards I got in for very cheap. I'm selling those now. I think my minimum price on TCGPlayer is something like 40 cents. So I have very few of those. A lot of that's actually Pokemon. Most of the money comes from Magic. I haven't made a ton of money. The goal is not really to make a ton of money early on. You're not going to, because you're not going to sell a whole lot. The goal is to get to level 4, which is, I'm doing that fairly quickly. I had one day where I had like 9 orders come in, and that, holy cow, that seems like a lot. It's almost a third of my total orders so far. That was the day I hit level 3, because I was able to input, I was sitting at like 98 cards out of 100 for inventory. Hit level 3, bam, 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 bam. I stayed up a little bit later that night after the baby was down, and I put in an additional several hundred cards, and that made it a lot easier. So I think I was up to close to 300 or over 300. So after I was able to do that, plus once you have feedback, you're no longer listed as a new seller or whatever the term TCGPlayer is. So you get a little bit higher priority, I believe, in listings and things like that. I don't know all the ins and outs. I'm not here to pretend I do. What I do know is sales. And right now I'm trying to meter my sales because I don't want to sell a lot of my nicer stuff early on. I want the nicer stuff to bring people to the store. Now you're going to get free shipping on the nicer stuff in the future anyway. It's going to be tracked and all that. If you buy what's a good example? You buy I can't think of an expensive Magic card off the top of my head anymore. All the prices got totally shot. Say you buy a $40 card from me. It's a fancy Sarkhan the Unbroken, whatever. You buy a fancy Sarkhan from me from the Mythic Edition. It's $40. You're going to get free shipping now instead of having to pay the minimum from TCGPlayer, which it says is 99 cents, but in reality it's 131. And I don't know if that's going to go up or not. But now you're going to get tracking and all that, so that it will bring more people into the store, and then you have essentially unlimited ability to upload, because you can use your TCGPlayer app to scan things in, create a CVV or whatever it is, CSV, import that, and then adjust your pricing very quickly instead of having to manually input all the cards. That is the most time-consuming process. And it's not even that it takes a ton of time to find it in the TCG inventory. I actually like the way it's done. The problem is the loading times. I mean, it's brutal. You find the card, Control F, the set, bada bing, bada boom, you're done. You put in, you do a quick conditioning. Most of my stuff's near mint. Some of it could be LP if it was gotten from a bulk thing. Some of it could even be MP. Very rarely is it damaged. I really look over a card to see, okay, is this damaged or not? And then after that, you update it. Man, it takes forever to load sometimes. No matter what your internet connection is, it doesn't matter. It's just the process in their system can take quite a while to load. So each card you're putting in, one inventory item, whether you have 18 copies or 1 copy, each one takes about 30 to 40 seconds, maybe longer. It's about that long. You can do it faster. I'm sure some people can do it faster once you really get into it. You've done thousands of these, but by unlocking level 4, you hopefully won't really have to use that tool very often. You have much better options available. PokePaster TCG runs through a lot of this stuff in his videos. He does a very good rundown of a lot of it because he has a lot more experience with all of it. So I just recently got started. I kind of wanted to just catalog the journey from the beginning. A lot of these are Magic cards. I know one of these is a 4th edition Red Elemental Blast. It's mod play. I picked it up in a bulk binder. I actually think I probably got it for free for helping a company sort a lot of their stuff out. They had, oh lordy, I think when he opened that game store, he had 30 boxes of Magic bulk. And he was like, go through it. Anything you want, just pull out of it. Obviously, don't screw me over if you see a Gaia's Cradle or anything like that. So I got a lot of this stuff really just kind of for sorting bulk and doing things like that anyway, which I used to like to really enjoy when I lived down the street from this card store. So I did a lot of that, got it for really cheap or nothing, selling it now. I don't really mind the TCGPlayer fees. At the end of the day, I'm using their existing platform that is very good in terms of getting the cards in front of people and getting people to purchase them. If I listed more competitively, I'm sure I could do a lot more sales. But you have to understand that what you've got versus, like, do I really want 30 or 40 sales a day? Not really. I don't want to deal with it right now. I don't have the capacity to deal with it in my daily life to do that. My actual work keeps me quite busy. I still work from home, which is great. I can work on the orders kind of as they come in. As long as the baby's not asleep, I just hit print out the invoices, fold them up in the envelope, get all the cards pulled, and get everything done. So it's really easy to pull the orders. I just don't want to do that 30 or 40 times a day. Had to go to the post office with a group of envelopes, keep buying these books of stamps with well, I can't show them off, but they have, right now we have the Mother Mary on there with the baby Jesus. That's the only one my local post office has in stock. So hopefully no one gets offended or anything like that by that. But I do have maybe 60 or 80 of those because I just buy by the book. And then, yeah, I'm metering what I put into TCGPlayer by things that I know I won't miss. These are cards I have probably quite a few of, or they're just random commons, uncommons, and bulk rares that have gone up in value a little bit with all the new releases that Magic's done since I stopped keeping up with it back in, I don't know what year, but I pretty much stopped caring about Magic in terms of collecting and buying new product after Strixhaven or during Strixhaven. I think it was actually Kaldheim was the last set actually. That's the one that really started to drain my energy from Magic. It was Kaldheim. And then Strixhaven, I believe, was right after that. I just stopped. I quit buying anything new. Some Final Fantasy stuff, whatever, but it's just a couple packs here and there where I could find them. Hoping to get some cards from FF12, 6, 9, the ones I actually like playing. Not the ones that everyone says are great, but the ones that are actually fun for me to play. And I played several times, 14 of course. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. It's been a lot of fun. I actually love selling stuff on TCGPlayer. I want to sell more high-end stuff. There's actually a local card show going on tomorrow. I am planning on going and just offering to take quite a bit off their hands. If the thing is, if you're a vendor, I don't know if you're going to be willing to do this. This is my first card show. It's very small. It's likely going to be mostly sports and random BS that no one cares about. I don't care about. I'm sorry, I should say that. There's more sports than Pokemon. Obviously, a lot of people care about it. But stuff I personally don't care about. I don't know how to value any of that stuff. I don't do it. Don't care. But with Pokemon and Magic, I might be able to pick up some, not bulk, but just cheapish cards. My bread and butter so far is at $2 to $8 range. Love it. I think that's a great range. I don't feel bad going through the work of getting the order put together, going to the post office within 2 days, usually the next day or same day, dropping it off, and all the rigmarole with it for $6 or $7 after the fees. That's fine. Even if it's for, if you got 3 or 4 orders, yeah, I'll drive to the post office for $12. Look, I work from home. It gives me a reason, to get out of the house for a few minutes, which is nice when you have a 10-month-old. So I don't mind doing it. That's my bread and butter. I'm hoping what I can do is just offer on a lot of cards, like several hundred that are in that price range at 70, maybe 75%, 70% would be ideal. Could be a little bit lower. If I go later in the day, I may stop in early in the morning, try to work some deals out, and then swing back later in the day and say, hey, I can keep you from packing up these 2 binders, if you'll just sell me everything in here and the binders for X amount, and just have the cash ready to go. I mean, buying inventory right now is what I need. Right now, if I listed every car I had on TCGPlayer, it would be a lot of bulk, and I don't really want to do that right now because I'm not level 4. I need inventory that will move, and inventory that will move is going to be in that slightly higher price range. So I'm going to be stuck here waiting to turn for a while because there's a lot of cars coming. So if I can pull that off and get me enough inventory to get to level 4, a little bit beyond, so I can introduce all that bulk and have thousands of cards in inventory, that would be ideal. And that's what I'm going to focus on tomorrow at the card show. If it's possible, great. If not, back to the drawing board, back to Facebook Marketplace, try to find stuff like that. In the meantime, I'm kind of building up a sealed collection for myself. That's its own story for another day. You may see it in the back of another video at some point if I'm ever in my actual office instead of always in the car, because that's the best time to make videos now. But for now, that's pretty much it. I'm going to run it here. I'm going to grab a check from a closing I just had. Won't even be able to turn it in and actually make money on it till next week, because that's the fun of being a real estate agent. But hey, at least I get something, right? At least I get the check. I have the money coming. May not be right now, but whatever it comes, it comes. So that's fine with me. But I'll stop in, hopefully have more TCGPlayer stuff, and I don't know, show off kind of what I'm buying and why. I think that might be kind of interesting. But until next time.